Hey guys, this is Mr. Recaps. In this video, I'm going to explain a movie called Blood Beach, released in the year of 1981. I'm warning you for spoilers. Stay tuned. On the beach, something or someone is slaughtering civilians one by one. Some of them are mutilated, but most are pulled into the sand and vanish without a trace. The story begins as the sun beams joylessly on the cold, rippling surface of the water. The wooden wharf beneath is sand blanketing the beaches, creating a very stunning image on Los Angeles, California's Venice Beach. On a typical day at the beach, a guy named Harry, better known as the Harbor Patrol officer, goes about his business, walking up to a dog and greeting his neighbor Ruth. While Harry was out swimming, Ruth, who had stayed with the dog, was just strolling normally on the beach when she was abruptly drawn under the sand of the desolate beach by an unseen force. Harry, who is nearby, hears the woman's calls for aid. Afterwards, two LAPD detectives, Sergeant Royko and Lieutenant Piantadozzi, were introduced. Harry then reports Ruth's disappearance to the two LAPD detectives, who argue there is nothing they can do without a corpse. Piantadozzi even claimed that what happened earlier in the morning will happen again and again unless someone did something about it. Sergeant Royko, who still suspects foul play, asked Harry if there were any additional theories concerning Ruth's disappearance. There was no trace, and it was even suspected that she had simply vanished. But oddly, Ruth's dog was at the scene alone, despite the fact that she is known for never leaving the house without her dog. As speculation continued, Piantadozzi then suggested that she brings her daughter, whom she had not contacted in over 17 years, to the scene. Catherine, Ruth's estranged daughter, arrives from San Francisco the next day after Harry contacts her about her mother's disappearance. When she arrives, she emotionally hugs her mother's dog and awkwardly greets Harry before greeting her friend Hoagie, which tries to lighten the situation by asking him to sing, causing a rapid shift in her demeanor as Hoagie expresses his condolences. After many years with no communication, Harry and Catherine inquire about one another, and Catherine asks questions as to what actually happened, as she is equally perplexed by her mother's unexpected vanishing. Unfortunately, Harry only knows of her mother's scream. It's terrifying for Catherine to lose a mother, but it's much more terrifying to lose a mother without accountability. Mrs. Sellon was the actual witness of the attack and disappearance of the victim Mrs. Rose and the other victims throughout the entire time, but she refuses to come forward and confess to the detectives. Later that night, Catherine hears her mother's dog barking and sees the dog on the beach near where Ruth went missing while residing overnight at Ruth's residence. Catherine looks into the matter to look further, then discovers the beheaded dog beside a little hole in the ground, then screams in utter fear. Royko, Piantadozzi, and Harry are summoned to the scene to investigate. It was a real mystery, as the police pathologist, Dr. Demetrios, was unable to determine the dog's cause of death. Following reports of other disappearances and the conclusion of the doctor's statement, Royko and Piantadozzi concluded it is the work of a murderer. The following morning, everything appears to be well at the beach. Children are present and running furiously towards the surf. The parents were entangled in the deck chairs, towels, and umbrellas they had packed for this delightful day. Moms yell at their children to be cautious. The fathers mutter and groan as they are forced to carry all of the necessities that the mothers insisted on carrying. But then another sinister happened. At the beach, a teenage girl is happily buried in the sand by her friends, but then began screaming. As the people try to get her out of the sand, only to discover that her legs have been severely injured, flooded with blood by an unseen creature. As people start to get harmed and die, the police commanded by Captain Pearson start an inquiry by digging up different portions of the beach at night. But they discover nothing. The locals went to the beach the next morning. As they were interviewed, the beach has been called Blood Beach by the local media. The horror continues the next night when Harry's co-worker Hoagie is closing up the Harbor Patrol office when his girlfriend goes underneath the pier to investigate a noise and is assaulted by a man. But after she knocks him out, the rapist is attacked by an unseen creature that strangles him. An evening or two later, Marie, a French airline stewardess who lives with Harry, rushes after her hat into the beach by the wind. She, too, is snatched and dragged into the sand by the unseen creature. The next morning, Harry notices Marie's hat on the beach, as well as a small sinkhole that resembles the one at the location of Ruth's disappearance and her dog's death. Harry contacts the detectives who investigate around the pit and discover Marie's gruesome disembodied eyeball. In despair for the loss of Marie and in his search for the strange creature's residence, Harry decides to visit an abandoned area of the pier and discovers an access tunnel leading to an underground storage facility. He exits the tunnel after finding nothing, not detecting a movement in a crumbled portion of the wall. Creepy. Meanwhile, a guy named Mr. Hench is wandering under the pier with a metal detector hunting for metal artifacts, when he is attacked and pulled into the sand by the yet unseen creature. Hench was reported missing by his wife later on, but they were surprised when they saw him emerge from a sewer manhole on Venice Street after fleeing the creature's lair. He is in shock after being severely mutilated and cannot explain what happened to him. Hoagie was the next victim, having gone to the pier to urge Mrs. Selden to leave the area. Catherine goes to the storage facility under the dock to look around, after hearing about the access tunnel from Harry. Just the same, Harry brings Piantadozzi with him to investigate. The discovery was finally out. They were shocked as they found all 16 of the creature's partially devoured victims, including Ruth's decapitated head, pieces of Marie's torso, and Hoagie's freshly disfigured body. Captain Pearson and the police arrive, and all of the dead are removed. Pearson directs the cops to deploy a backhoe and other equipment to locate the creature. Because of the increased media interest, the police seek to kill the monster as soon as possible, and Pearson orders the installation of motion sensors, heat-sensing cameras, and explosives. That nightfall, the bloodshed began, as a massive monster resembling a worm-like Venus flytrap emerged from the sand and was captured on camera. Royko detonates the explosive without hesitation, and the beast is blasted to its fragments. The grisly known creature was declared as no longer exists after the operation hours later. Police are all over the place. Media reporters swarm at the scene to get good shots at the horror happened at Los Angeles, California's Venice Beach, now known as Blood Beach, and deliver these big news stories to the public. Despite that, Dr. Demetrius points out that they still have no idea regarding the monster's origins or capabilities. Demetrius worries about what would happen to each fragment because it resembles a gigantic worm, and certain worms have the power to regenerate. Nobody was sleeping as the night progressed. The inquiry was still proceeding and the condition of the beach was unclear. Everyone was watching and waiting. The next morning, Catherine reminisces all that happened during her stay. As she looks back at her house the last time, Harry then told her that they're going home. Harry decided to leave with Catherine and bring her home to San Francisco. Days pass and the beach reopens again to the public now that the underground creature has been killed. The beach is lively as new tourists crowd it. People are happily enjoying the sun, relaxing under the umbrella at the surface of the beach and enjoying each other's company. At the last scene of the movie, a woman is featured asking her son if he is hungry. As the woman is busy making a sandwich for her son, she then asks again if her son would like to eat. Her son did not reply. As she looked back, her son was gone, and only traces of a dig hole can be seen. The woman screams looking for her son. Not far from where the woman was screaming, new little sinkholes begin to form unnoticed all over the sand, revealing that Dr. Demetrius' claim was confirmed about the monster. It had the potential to regenerate, and so the movie has come to an end. If you've got a passion for movies and everything about them, Mr. Recaps is your destination. Subscribe for more videos like this, hit the notification bell icon, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching and see you tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. Peace.